Welcome back to Crown Chats and to another bonus edition episode with footage never before seen from previous interviews. And in this bonus episode, we are hearing from actors John Brotherton and Christopher Russell. In our first clip with actor John Brotherton, we are finding out why The Conjuring, his horror film, became a little bit of a threat or parenting-style discipline in his household.
So it's been such a blessing to be in that sort of family space, which Hallmark also is. And so I just, my family is everything. So to be in that world in entertainment, it's just been like a double blessing. It's a double rainbow.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And you're making projects that everybody can enjoy, but especially your kids, which, I mean, maybe they're not watching The Conjuring or some of that stuff necessarily at this point, but you have alternative options for them.
What's funny about that, for years, it was a threat in our household. It was like, if you're going to get in, if you don't, I'm going to make you watch The Conjuring. It was this like funny threat in our house for literally a decade. Because my daughter was born actually the day I had to leave to go film that. I left her in the hospital, which is a wild story, but a blessing. She was the angel baby of the Conjuring universe. But it was... oh God, I just lost my train of thought because I was thinking of that amazing story. The Conjuring. But my youngest recently had a birthday party, and it was a slumber party, and they all committed, and it was her whole life changed overnight because she went from never wanting to ever watch a scary movie to oh my God, I love scary movies, and she fell in love with The Conjuring. All her friends loved it, and now has seen it a handful of times, and so it's yeah.
So you introduced her to that world as well, so that's all right.
Yeah. But The Conjuring is scary, but it's also not it's not gory.
Yeah.
It's not blood. It's still like a movie. It might be a thriller and it's scary but it's not there's not people getting sawed in half and stuff like that.
And you even have a little comedic relief in that one, so it's not of all the role, you know what I mean? So it's a tamer introduction to the world. Yeah. So that's okay.
And in the second clip with John Brotherton, you'll see why I deemed him the pioneer for modern day television and streaming.
And it was such an honor to be a part of that run. It really was. It was and it was a treasured stage. It was the Friends stage at Warner Brothers, which was the original Full House stage. Every bit of it was magic. It really was. It was so fun.
Yeah, I actually had the opportunity. I did a Warner Brothers lot tour when my mom lived in LA for a few years. And so it was Fuller House was still filming. I think you were on hiatus, but they had it set up. So that was one that we got to go on, just seeing the plaid couch. I was I was an OG Full House fan. And so then I was so excited when Fuller House came back. And really, I also have to thank you in a way because you're sort of one of the pioneers of how, just the delivery platform, but just the landscape of TV has changed since then, or how shows are, because with you guys were also, yes, experimental in the reboot with the cast, but also a direct to streaming series. And because it was so successful, I don't know if it was the first, but it's one of the first, at least successful ones. And I feel like it completely changed the game of, I don't think things like Amazon Prime and Apple TV existed at that point. You guys were kind of the test run, and they were oh wait, there's another opportunity in market for creativity and freedom, and it just launched. Maybe we should thank you for Hallmark Plus even existing at this point, because I don't know that those things would have happened. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it's so funny you say that. I certainly can't take credit, but that era, we were part of the experimental kind of first Netflix, run. And then it was interesting, to your point, that when it would come out, we would get people at 9 a.m. that had binged the whole season and would immediately start reporting on all of it, and talking about all. And that was such a new, obviously, people weren't used to an entire season's worth of conversation and drama and talking points, and it caused polls on Twitter, and that actually ignited the whole Team Matt versus Team Steve conversation. So it was certainly a new way but people were like ravenous. And then from there, forget it. Season 2, 3, and 4, like it would come out and the diehard fans would binge it and they'd binge it again. And it was like, we get people that could quote it verbatim. It certainly changed the way people watch television.
Yeah. And now it's kind of like we kind of forget what it was. We forget what it was like to wait for, between commercials, but also like to have to wait for another, we wait a whole week for another episode. And it's like, nope, just play the next one. But it's,
I know.
For
Which takes out some of the, there was something about like my generation growing up, there was lots of watch parties. That was a thing.
Yeah.
Because stuff came out once a week. I remember for whatever reason, when I was in college, the sorority girls started the Bachelorette watch party. And that's crazy to me because it's now been on, I don't know, is that 25 years ago?
Yeah.
And it was like season 1. And I was like, this is crazy. These girls get together like every Monday night or whatever to watch this like new show, reality show. And here it is. Like they were onto something.
It was. Well, you may not take the credit, but I'm going to give you the credit, at least you and the whole cast, because I feel like you are kind of the breakout star of that show because that was an established group of people. And it really is your just very natural chemistry with Candace and the whole DJ Matt and Steve dynamic. But I feel like you're the character that by the end of the show, everybody's rooting for you. Like no matter which relationship you end up in, because you do eventually get married and have stepkids. We won't say with who. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't watched it, but you're so lovable in that show. And it's that chemistry that leads you to getting to do, you and Candace decide to do a Christmas movie together for Hallmark Channel. So then you're entering another established fan base there.
And in this first clip with actor Christopher Russell, we go a little bit more in depth into his Christmas con experience and just how moving it really was.
Yeah, it is. And from a lot of the actors I've talked to that have done these kind of conventions, even if they've done other conventions, they say that this one is so different because the stories people are sharing with you of, it's one thing just be like, this movie's my escape, or this is just, a little happiness I have on a Friday or Saturday night. But some of them, like this is what they're watching when they're going through cancer treatments, or it's something that helped them cope with the loss of a loved one. And just to me, if I have to like put myself in your shoes, it's like, it's one thing to be like loved and pampered, like all for 8 hours or these really long days where you're on your feet. But I can't imagine just having to kind of take that in too in a very quick, like 30-second encounter with someone of like, this is something that's truly changed their life. And it might've been like 15 days for you in a shoot, but you don't realize just, and in a good way, like the legacy or the impact you're having. And you don't experience that at other conventions, or, you just did an episode of Tracker or whatnot, or Reacher, Tracker. Why am I getting that?
Tracker. Reacher I did well, but Tracker was recent.
Yeah, there you go. But you probably don't have people coming up to you saying, "Oh my gosh, like this changed my life," or "It helped me," this. But these movies do, and it gives you a lot more pride in what you do, and you realize the significance of it.
Yeah, you're right. The amount of stories I heard over that 3-day weekend from people, like the things they were going through or had been through, or why they were there. There's a lot of people there that were there in honor of someone they'd lost who was a big fan, and just all those types of things. And it was just really touching. Yeah, it was really nice. Yeah. Because it would be different than, and not to, I'm not speaking badly of them, but it's just totally different. You go to a sci-fi convention, it's more about, I think this plot point means that, and this character is going to do that, and I believe, it's all about that, as opposed to when you're at Christmas Con, it's like, yeah, I'm here because my sister was a huge fan, and she passed last year, and this is the first Christmas without her, or, my mother has cancer, and she couldn't make it, so I need to get a picture with you to take it back to her in the hot, like all that, right? And it's just, yeah, it means a lot.
And in this second clip with actor Christopher Russell, we learn a little bit more about his barbecue skills on set and off.
There you go. Are you more of like a grass-fed, or like because someone told me you were grilling like 9 steaks one night when she happened to catch you somewhere, but otherwise, like, what are your go-to preferences of?
Well, yeah, I find chicken doesn't fill me up. So, when I'm working, yeah, I'll cook a bunch of steaks the night before on the barbecue, and then I'm not going to eat nine at once. I'm not that crazy, but yeah, it's usually for the week.
So,
Yeah,
meal prepping. It's very smart, very strategic.
exactly.
I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right. Well,
and also it's kind of relaxing, just standing out there by the barbecue. Because where we were staying, we had an outdoor barbecue patio, so it was nice to go out down there.
there you go, everybody. He also is a good barbecue. So if we ever have a some sort of fan barbecue, we know who's going to be running it. It's all good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm actually really good.
There we go. Special skill. There we go. There's an exclusive.
My wife taught me well.
There you go.
And in this last clip with Christopher Russell, he gives wonderful advice as to how to balance a healthy lifestyle with a busy work schedule.
Best advice for someone who is trying to balance a healthy lifestyle with a busy work schedule.
Oh, uh, it really all comes down to what we were talking about before. It's meal prep, and then making the gym a priority over, or exercise doesn't have to be the gym, could be anything, but making it a priority over relaxing. Just because if you're busy working and you're just eating takeout and you're not exercising, you're not eventually your mind and body will not be functioning the way you need it to. But if you can prioritize that early on by just taking a Sunday afternoon to do some meal prep for the week. So if you're busy at work and you're getting starving, you don't fall prey to ordering something that's you're going to regret later. And then if you just get up an extra 40 minutes earlier in the morning, you can do a really good workout in half an hour. So if you just make that a habit and a routine, then you're good.
Absolutely. Just takes discipline.
Exactly. It really does.
And you've got kids, you've got family, like you just have to make it work because
Yeah.
you have to be your best self too in that
I
sense.
mean, sometimes, yeah, I've taken the kids to the park and just made them watch me work out. Like,
I
you're
do
gonna,
that with my son all the time.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, he comes to the gym with me because, like I said, I can kind of flex it in, and he knows he's 3, but like he'll lift a dumbbell or he'll count reps for me. It's like it's fun for them, and it's great for them to
Yeah,
see you doing that because
spending time with you.
absolutely. And sometimes they think it's funny or they're learning from it, so it's all right.
My my kids were really little, like before they could walk, I'd put them in the car seat in front of me so they couldn't like crawl around and like cause trouble, and but they just watch me in the car seat and they actually like enjoyed it.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I did that with my son all the time. I'd just bring him in a stroller and he just sat there and he didn't even need it. Didn't give him a tablet. He's just like, I'm just gonna watch mom and this is funny. And it's like and it's good for them to be used to that environment, like just in general. But
And that wraps up another edition of Bonus Crown Cuts. Thank you again for joining me. And of course, if you love what you're seeing, please be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel. And of course, follow me, Haley, at Crown the Halls on Instagram. And don't forget, we have sweet summer styles and merch with Dressing Festive. You can find the link for that in the episode here, as well as in my Instagram bio. So until next time, wear your crown. Your crown may tilt, may it never fall, but you are beautiful and you are strong.